$1.6 billion. That's what Dubai is spending to build the world's second tallest skyscraper. But here's what the brochure won't tell you. This exact ground, right here, already killed one skyscraper. The money ran out. The crane stopped. The plot sat abandoned for years. And now, a developer who has never built anything remotely like this is claiming they'll construct 133 floors, all the way to 725 meters. So before anyone spends $2 million on an apartment here, someone needs to ask the uncomfortable questions. That's exactly what we're doing today. To understand what's really at stake here, you need to go back to 2012. A company called Maiden Group announced a tower on this exact plot. They called it the Entisar Tower. Entisar means victory in Arabic. 570 meters, 122 floors, groundbreaking in 2016, foundations poured, concrete in, then in 2017. Dubai's own civic authority issued a stop work order, not for engineering failure, for a payment dispute. The money ran out, contractors walked off, and there it sat, a half-built foundation on one of the most expensive roads in the world, a monument to ambition without execution. In 2018, Azizi Development stepped in and bought the plot. Then, for 6 years, almost nothing happened. No visible progress. 6 years of silence on ground that had already failed once. Finally, in January 2024, Azizi rebranded. New name, new design, but bigger. 725 meters instead of 570. Even more ambitious than the project that already collapsed here. Think about that. The first project failed at 570 meters. The replacement is 155 meters taller, on the same ground, with a less experienced developer. 13 years, 2 developers, 1 government shutdown, 6 years of inaction. And now, the biggest bet this plot has ever seen. But the cursed plot is just the beginning. Because the bigger question isn't the land, it's who's building on it, and whether they can actually pull this off. And that answer is more complicated than you'd expect. Let me be fair here, because Azizi Developments has a real track record, and it deserves to be looked at honestly. Founded in 2007, in 2024 alone, 19 completed projects, over 10,000 units sold, a legitimate functioning company, not a shell, not a startup. But here's the problem. Every single one of those projects is a mid-range Dubai apartment complex. Burj Azizi is not that. Building a 725-meter super tall is a completely different engineering challenge. The Burj Khalifa was built by Emaar, one of the Middle East's largest developers, in partnership with Samsung, C&T, and B6 global giants with decades of super tall experience. It took 6 years of active construction. Burj Azizi's contractor is Gardenia Contracting. Their architect is AE7 competent firms, but zero super tall mega project pedigree. Would you hand the world's most complex construction project to a developer whose biggest previous job is a residential compound in Dubai Marina? And then there's the financial transparency gap. Azizi is a private company. No public financial reports. No audited balance sheet. The $1.6 billion cost has been quoted everywhere, but there's no public document showing how it's actually being funded. For context, the Jeddah Tower is backed by Kingdom Holding Company, a publicly listed firm with disclosed financing and verified contracts. That's what financial transparency looks like at this scale. Now, the February 2025 sales launch was real. Jennifer Lopez performed at the Coca-Cola Arena. 15,000 attendees. Simultaneous events in London at the Dorchester, Hong Kong at the Peninsula, Mumbai, Singapore, Tokyo. But here's a question worth sitting with. When was the last time the world's most credible mega project needed a pop star at the launch? The Burj Khalifa didn't open with a concert. The Petronas Towers announced themselves by simply existing. Spectacle and substance are not always the same thing. So let's look at what they're actually promising to build, because some of these records are genuinely extraordinary, and some of them need a much closer look. 725 meters, 133 floors. 2 kilometers from the Burj Khalifa, imagine stepping into a hotel lobby, 498 meters above the ground. Your hotel room, on floor 121, sits at 534 meters, the world's highest occupied room. Dinner is at a restaurant, higher than the Burj Khalifa's famous atmosphere. And if you want to end your night at a nightclub, it's on floor 126, at 577 meters. Above the clouds, literally. If this building was finished today, those records would check out. The numbers are architecturally real, but here's the one claim that genuinely doesn't hold up. The 7-star hotel. 7-star hotels don't officially exist. There is no international rating system above 5 stars, not one. 7-star is a marketing phrase, the same label the media stuck on the Burj Al Arab decades ago, because 5 stars felt insufficient. And sophisticated investors in London, New York, and Hong Kong know exactly what 7-star means. It means, trust us, it's really fancy. The deeper concern isn't the superlatives, it's occupancy. Dubai already has luxury towers with significant vacancy, buildings fully marketed, fully sold, and still largely empty years after completion. The Burj Khalifa itself had documented issues with empty floors years after opening. So the real question isn't just, can Azizi build this? The question is, even if they do, will anyone actually live there? But all of this, the developer questions, the vacancy risk, the marketing spectacle, becomes almost secondary once you understand what's happening 1,300 kilometers away in Saudi Arabia right now, and it's moving fast. Azizi's entire investment pitch, the global sales campaign, the London events, the Jennifer Lopez launch, is built on one headline: the world's second tallest building. That's the brand. That's what buyers spending $2 to $42 million are actually paying for. And right now, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, a tower is rising that could erase that headline before Burj Azizi even opens. The Jeddah Tower, over 1,000 meters tall, the world's first kilometer-high structure, designed by Adrian Smith, the same architect who designed the Burj Khalifa. Construction began in 2013, paused in 2018 due to political and financial turbulence, then restarted in January 2025. The same month, Burj Azizi restarted, and the pace has surprised everyone watching. By January 2026, the Jeddah Tower had crossed the 80th floor, adding a new floor every 3 to 4 days, confirmed by structural engineers at Thornton Tomasetti. Kingdom Holdings CEO confirmed 85 floors complete by late January 2026. Completion target August 2028, the same window Burj Azizi originally aimed for. Now do the math Azizi's marketing team would prefer you skipped. If Jeddah completes in 2028, Burj Khalifa drops from first to second, which means Burj Azizi, even finished perfectly, on time, becomes third. Not the world's second tallest, third. Azizi's counter-argument is fair. Those internal records, highest lobby, nightclub, observation deck, those stay regardless of Saudi Arabia. That's true, but third tallest building with the highest nightclub is a very different investment pitch than the one buyers signed contracts on. And here's the broader picture. Uptown Dubai Tower is targeting 711 meters, and Emaar Super Tower is in planning. Kuwait's Burj Mubarak is targeting 1,000 meters. Azizi is spending $1.6 billion to be second, in a race where second place might not even exist by the time the building opens. So, with all of this on the table, is there actually a case for this project? Yes, and it's stronger than the critics give it credit for. Let's reach the verdict. Dubai brought in 18.7 million overnight visitors in 2024, 7th most visited city on Earth. The Burj Khalifa, after 15 years, is still the most visited monument in the world. Every super tall this city has ever built has paid back far beyond its construction cost. The plot already has structural groundwork from the Entisar era, reducing one of the most expensive phases of super tall construction. Government height approvals are confirmed. International capital is genuinely interested, and Dubai's track record should never be dismissed. The Palm Jumeirah, the Burj Al Arab, the Burj Khalifa, completed during a financial crisis that nearly bankrupted the city itself. Everyone was called impossible. Everyone became a global icon, a plot with 13 years of failure, a developer with no super tall experience and no public balance sheet, a completion timeline already shifted twice. Now, pointing toward 2030, a headline world record that Saudi Arabia may already be making obsolete. The history of super tall skyscrapers is littered with projects that announced, broke ground, and quietly disappeared. The Dubai Creek Tower was announced at 1,300 meters. It's been paused for years. The pattern is not new. The risk is not theoretical. And the deeper question, the one that goes beyond Burj Azizi, is this. In a world racing to build kilometer-high towers, what is the actual endgame? Is it prosperity, tourism, national identity, or is it something more fragile, the need to prove relevance to a world that never stops watching? Maybe Burj Azizi becomes the next chapter in Dubai's extraordinary story. Or maybe, in 2030, we'll be making a video about another stalled plot on Sheikh Zayed Road. So here's the only question that matters right now. Would you invest millions into a tower built on cursed ground with a developer who's never done this before, racing a title that might not exist when the doors open? Drop your verdict in the comments. Genius or gamble? I read every single one. Subscribe to Grand Project Files, because the Jeddah Tower, the Emaar Super Tower, and this entire global skyscraper race, we're covering all of it. I'll see you in the next one.